out from my is that what is it that endears you to Africa? What is it that, because I can see, even right from the conference where we met in New York, you spoke passionately about the continent, you spoke passionately about the youth, you spoke passionately about what your foundation is achieving on the continent. So as a way of introducing yourself, I would like you to also stress that point. What is it about Africa for you?
Wow. Firstly, thank you so much to Unlocking African Markets, to Steve and to Christoph for organizing this amazing webinar. I think the more that we can share knowledge and leverage all the amazing technology platforms we have to connect Africa, to talk about Africa. Africa is the future. The African youth are the future of the world, not just Africa. So just by way of a background, my own story is that I was born in India and my parents migrated to the UK when I was 10 years old. So I've grown up in the UK. And I guess I've spent the first 30 years of my professional life and career as a storyteller, empowering, using the format of stories through film and through television to really bring those untold stories from around the world, particularly Africa, Asia, and Latin America, to the West primarily, so that, you know, that they have a particular perception that the West is locked into about emerging markets and what was then called the Third World. So I guess the driver is that I want to tell untold stories. The driver is that I've always, throughout my professional life, it's been empowering other people, empowering people, whether it was when I was working in the arts or as a film and television producer. And then in 2014, in April 2014, the universe conspired for me to meet Mr. Elumelu, who I had never ever met in my life before. But I was inspired by his vision, his economic philosophy of Afri-capitalism, his vision to institutionalize luck and democratize opportunity by investing in the future generation, the next generation of African business leaders. Afri-capitalism, which is what attracted me, is that the future of Africa is in the hands of the private sector. And what he wanted to see, a way of, in a sense, using his resources, which is money as well as resources, and his imagination, I would say, to find a way of reaching the African youth across the continent. So those were the three things that really attracted me to him and to the Tony Elumelu Foundation in 2014, when I made the move from film production, I guess, to foundation, to working in the foundation.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. I will just pause you there. We're going to play the video now to a kind of follow-up on the introduction. I just want to check with Christoph if we can have the introductory video now. Christoph?
Yeah, we can do so. So let's just all switch off our sound and our cameras, then we will be able to do that very well. So
okay. I think it's just about a minute.
It's very short, yeah. So, but it's really nice introduction to what we want to talk about here. So let's do that.
Yeah.
And then I should be able to share the video now.
I have seen these young Africans prosper, from some who didn't even know what to do with their lives until they got the $5,000 seed capital from Tony Elumelu Foundation, and the mentorship and the training that gladdens my heart.
I saw this ad about the Tony Elumelu Foundation. I applied. That was the pivotal moment.
After Fashion Week London just came after I participated in the Tony Elumelu Foundation entrepreneurship program.
Tony Elumelu, grâce à sa fondation, permet de donner une boussole à tous les entrepreneurs de cette fondation.
Our role is not only to empower young Africans directly, we should be a voice, advocate, catalyst for economic empowerment of Africa.
The future of Africa is in your hands.
Become a Tony Elumelu entrepreneur. Apply now.
Okay, great. Oh, great. Thank you so much. So I think we should just begin the interactive session now. That to me is a very short intro, and it brings everything into perspective about why this program is important and why we are doing what we are doing now. As we speak now, the recruitment into the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program is on and is closing on the 1st of March. So, and wherever you are, if you are listening to us, maybe via Facebook or YouTube or wherever, we just want you to get to the website. I believe Parminder is going to still talk more about this initiative. And I think for me, primarily, what I like to hear more would be the practical side of the story. Because I know that on the continent, on this our continent, there are quite a number of initiatives, but you don't really see, some of them are pretty much, theoretical. I would like to see the practical impact that the team at the Tony Elumelu Foundation have made and are still making, and also to see how we can project into the future of the continent. Because when you think in terms of the entrepreneurs that have been empowered, I see them as the job generators. I see them as the job creators. And I see them as people that are out there to make things happen for the continent. So I'm just going to quickly go back to Parminder now before I come to Christoph, to really give us like a kind of a background to how, number one, the recruitment takes place, because that is trending now. That's what is trending now at the foundation, the recruitment. Then number two, the ones that have passed through this program, how are they doing? Can we have like one or two examples, like success story? And then number three, what does the future look like for the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurship program on the continent? Parminder, over to you.
Thank you very much. So let me just take you back on the 1st of January 2015. We launched what was described as the 7 pillars of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. And let me just remind people what those 7 pillars are, because what sets this program apart from any other program is that, number one, it's not an initiative, it's a long-term investment. So it's a 10-year program. So from 2015, the launch of it, to 2025. So it's a long-term investment and a long-term commitment. Secondly, it's a program that originates in Africa by an African for Africans. So the 7 pillars takes a holistic approach to developing and growing entrepreneurs. And these 7 pillars work intrinsically together, and that's how I conceived the program from April 2014 to when we launched it on the 1st of December 2014. So let me take you through the 7 pillars. The application is obviously the first step, but the program comprises of a 12-week startup enterprise toolkit, mentoring, a resource library, an online resource library, which is available to the selected entrepreneurs, the Africa's largest gathering, a physical gathering of entrepreneurs from across the continent, and I stress across the continent, that's 54 African countries, and entrepreneurs from those countries gather and they build the most extraordinary networks and relationships. And we've had an annual forum since 2015. We provide what normally entrepreneurs do or startups do is they go to the 3 F's, family, fools, and friends, for their first seed capital. Well, we provide that first seed capital of $5,000, really for the entrepreneurs of proof of concept. The entrepreneurs then join an alumni network once they graduate, and they continue to benefit from ongoing resources and information, knowledge sharing, networking, because it's the entrepreneurs who have the best solution for other entrepreneurs' challenges. Who do you learn from the best? But another entrepreneur who's also going through similar challenges as you are in terms of setting up your business. And then the alumni, the networks, we encourage the alumni networks across the continent to build networks, and we appoint hub leads in those countries so that they can continue to hold meetups within their own countries. And that's a way of literally having the offline continuation. So the program is conceived of as a holistic approach. So it's not just, most programs would be, we'll bring you together and we'll give you a bit of mentoring, or maybe we'll give you a bit of training. And the training is very much structured around the business ideas that the entrepreneurs apply with. So when you're applying to the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program, you must have a business idea, an idea that you've already thought about and market tested, and you are going to go through a very, very tough application form, which you will do when you start applying. So over the last 4 years, and we're now into our 5th year, we have attracted 300,000 plus entrepreneurs from 54 African countries to come to the application portal. We've received, the same amount of applications over the 4 years. And in the last 4 years, we have empowered through training, funding, and mentoring 4,470 entrepreneurs from 54 African countries in 3 languages, French, Portuguese, and English, have actually graduated. If I can just share just the financial investment that we've made in terms of developing this sustainable program infrastructure, because it's not just for 10 years, it's for the next 100 years, because entrepreneurs, as we know, are the heartbeat. They are the drivers of economies, have been from time immemorial, and will continue to be. So we've spent at least from the 2015 to now, or 2014, we've actually invested $32 million of the $100 million cap investment that the founder had made a commitment of on the 1st of December, of which 22.35 million have gone directly to the entrepreneurs, to the 4,470. And that's $20 million directly from the foundation, and 2.35 million from our partners. What we've discovered in 2017, 2018 is that we could easily support more than 1,000 entrepreneurs every year. We could select, but our commitment only allows us to select 1,000. And so we brought on board partners who would really support additional entrepreneurs, the selection of additional entrepreneurs. So in 2018, 470 additional entrepreneurs were sponsored through seed capital from the International Red Cross, UNDP, GIZ, and a couple of independent private sector companies. And this year, they've made the same commitment, those partners, to supporting an additional 470 entrepreneurs in 2019. And we would like to think that additional sponsorship of additional entrepreneurs will continue to the end of the program and beyond. And then the $10 million we've really literally invested in the program infrastructure, which is technology. Our program is technology driven, is technology enabled in the same way as technology is now allowing us, from the application to the mentor learning and to the networking that the alumni are able to do. The content development, the 12-week Startup Enterprise Toolkit is commissioned by us. We didn't just take content from the shelf and roll it out to the entrepreneurs. We developed our content so that it really meets the needs of the African entrepreneurs and is really designed with the conditions in which the African entrepreneurs operate. We invest a lot of money in marketing the program, as you can see. You know, you can see the CNN ads, but it's also it's by a way, and we translate those into French and English and Portuguese, to really reach the continent. And obviously the small teams of staff of 10 to 12 people who manage this program and the alumni throughout the year who are based in the office here. So in terms of benefit, you know, how have we impacted? 4,470 have graduated. Those entrepreneurs are already creating jobs. Our goal is that they should create at least 1 million jobs in the next 10 years, right? Through their enterprises, yeah? Our goal is that they should generate at least and contribute $10 billion to the African economy. We know already that we are well on our way to realizing that those ambitious goals and probably surpass them in the decade. Remember, it only takes one enterprise that maybe was seeded by the foundation, and it's gone from an idea to an IPO. And we will see, we believe that the entrepreneurs that we are empowering are job creators and not grant seekers. They are passionate about the businesses that they applied with, but they're also sensible and you know, in terms of now they have the tools with which to run and manage and grow their businesses. And vast numbers of them have begun to leverage the kite mark of having been part of the Tony Elumelu Foundation entrepreneurship program. As the director of marketing from Google said to me, the foundation is doing an amazing job, he said. You provide market validation for when entrepreneurs apply for ongoing support, business advisory support, funding, and they see that you have passed through the Tony Elumelu Foundation entrepreneurship program. There is a documentary I produced last year for the foundation where I interview about half a dozen entrepreneurs who talk about, and they show us their successes, yeah? Whether a fashion designer who went from having finished her program to the catwalk in London and in Amsterdam with her fashion design, to a crazy aviation entrepreneur who was taking drone technology in Debussy and seeing how he could use it for farmers. And you know, the stories are endless. To a South African entrepreneur whose mother had breast cancer and she couldn't find prosthetic breasts in South Africa, so she set up her own business. To a woman who set up a motor mechanics workshop, she's a motor mechanic herself, to train other women and to train women to understand, you know, how to fix your own car. And she has a program called Heels on Wheels, and she's also featured in my documentary. I mean, you know, I could spend the entire day with you going through the 4,470 stories, but you can listen to those stories on our podcast. I interview entrepreneurs once a week, and and they come and talk about their entrepreneurial journey. We write the alumni stories and they're on our website. We're making films about the entrepreneurs. For me, that's a much better way of tracking the entrepreneurs than producing boring monitoring and evaluation reports.
Okay. Okay.
Some water.
Thank you so much.
So the impact is huge. The impact is huge.
Okay, very huge. Thank you so much, Parminder. Now, before I go to Christophe, Christophe, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I just want to quickly go back to Parminder for her to clarify certain things. A few minutes. Now, I like what you said about the fact that this is not an initiative, it is an investment. I like that mind. I like the approach and the methodology. I also like what you said about the fact that what attracted you to this whole thing is you like to tell the untold story. And I think from your experience, you see that Africa is not only blessed with natural resources, we are blessed with human resources. At least going by
human capital is Africa's biggest asset.
That is the biggest asset. Thank you so much. Now, I just want us to zero in on the theme, the overarching theme of this webinar, which is talking about luck and opportunity. What actually informed that decision to institutionalize luck and democratize opportunity? If you could just throw light in
Sure. I mean, it's a beautiful story, and all stories. The reason why storytelling is powerful, because there's an emotional center to them, and institutionalizing luck and democratizing opportunity comes directly out of Mr. Elumelu's own personal experience. At the age of 26, he was lucky to be promoted. As he says, it was luck. He had the right manager who saw potential in him and promoted him at the age of 26 to be a manager, unheard of apparently in the banking world. Yeah, he took that gave him confidence in himself, and he, as you can see, he is now the chairman of Africa's largest bank, United Bank for Africa. So here was someone who thought it was luck, and yes, luck plays an important part, but you also know that in order for you to avail yourself of opportunity and luck, you have to be prepared. Right. And Mr. Elumelu clearly was prepared. So I think institutionalizing luck is very much something that was a part of him. And for me, it resonated with a lot of the work that I've done in the UK about democratizing opportunities, right? Particularly for minorities in the UK, and that's another story. But in terms of democratizing opportunity, and again, it was for him, it's like, how can I make the luck and the opportunity that I received through mentoring, through people who believed in me, through my family and friends and my professional colleagues, how can I scale both of those, yeah? And how can it impact across the African continent? So I would say the genesis of institutionalizing luck and democratizing opportunity comes from Mr. Elumelu's lived experience. And then he's now taken it and using and created the foundation, obviously, in 2010, and then developed the program around his vision to democratize and to support entrepreneurs and startups. And by that, he meant, he could easily have said, let me go to those who are high flyers already, or let me find the high growth companies to invest in. And instead, he looked at the bottom of the pyramid and said, there are a lot of people across the African continent with amazing business ideas, the drive, the ambition. How can we support them? And then being a very structured man, and I come from the world of film production, which is one of the most structured industries left on this planet Earth. And bringing the two together is what we've done with the 7 pillars of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the light you've thrown on that. And I would just want to quickly check with Christoph now, because I know that on the continent, there are other organizations who are actually doing their own bit to see how we can assist entrepreneurs, we can encourage entrepreneurs on the continent. And Christoph happened to be one of those people also passionate about entrepreneurs, especially in the area of training, in the area of mentoring, and also in the area of trying to assist them to seek for funding. So Christoph, I don't know if you could just tell us 1 or 2 things about what you do at HWEL. Hello, Christoph?
I don't want to mark the time here because there's so much to talk about in terms of what the foundation is doing. But yeah, yes. The HWEL, there's 2 legs to it, the venture capital fund. So it's investment in early stage, high risk, but early stage businesses that may grow quite radically, not only in Africa, but also in other continents. It's a fairly new fund, so you may not have heard of it. But yeah, in the startup space, across Africa, in fact, we at the moment are active in 14 African countries in terms of the pipeline into the fund. But the second leg is where I'm more involved in, and that's also a foundation side of things, and that's why I'm here today, because if there's someone like Steve or a Wallo around that are gathering people around the discussion of entrepreneurship, then as the HWEB, we can be supportive of that and helping creating the platforms for people to connect, and that's what the HWEB Foundation is about, is all those, I saw the other day, there are about 500 hubs now, accelerators and so on across the continent. So they may not have 1,000 people coming into the program as we have in this case. They may have smaller numbers, but they're all doing their bit, and the HWEB is working with those hubs and so on to make sure that the quality of the service that they can deliver to the entrepreneurs is improved and the impact is better. So that's why, Steve, why we're here with you here today and supporting this initiative. Of course, the foundation, the Tony Elumelu Foundation, is doing more, I know, than just running a program that people are actively on, 100. There's also a forum and alumni network and so on. So I would love us to speak more about the program, because I know that you are, Parminder, are asking for people to enter the program now. But perhaps you could just also very briefly talk about the entrepreneurship forum and the alumni network, so that we get the full picture. So if you enter the system, you become part of a community, I gather.
Absolutely.
Great.
In design, as I said, when we set out to design the program, we thought about all of that, and that's the 7 pillars. So the alumni network and the forum and the meetups is very much part of the 7 pillars. So, okay, so the audience who's listening, who's participating, the application portal opened on the 1st of January for 2019. This is the 5th round of the entrepreneurship program, 5 more years to go still. And it closes on the 1st of March. The application form is not a walk in the park. Do not think, oh, it's just filling in the blanks and submitting. Last year, we received 151,692. I anticipate we will receive something like 200,000 applications. We have a very rigorous selection process once we've received all the application. But my advice to you guys, if you're considering applying, and you should apply, and you can apply in French, Portuguese, and English, and the application is translatable. My advice to you, if you're considering applying, is to go on the TEF website, www.tonyelumulefoundation.org, and really inform yourself, because this is not a new initiative. It's got 4 years of legacy. Go read the alumni stories. Go listen to the audio stories. Go look at all the frequently asked questions on the application. Go download the application form and study it. Because our goal, as I said, is to create 1 million jobs and generate $10 billion. And the only entrepreneurs who can create jobs and generate revenues are going to be able to do that. There are entrepreneurs who will only chase the $5,000 as a grant. I would advise don't even bother, because chasing a $5,000 grant is not sustainable. It will run out very, very quickly. So the application portal will close on the 1st of March. We will then take all those applications that we've received. We will do an internal review, and then we will do over the 4 years, we've worked with Accenture Development Partners, and there are 5 criteria against which, and again, it's on our website, in terms of all the terms and conditions. The applications are then evaluated by a professional company. We in the foundation, including myself and Mr. Elumelu, we do not know who's applied. We know where they've applied from. We know the geographical spread. We know the gender and the number of applications from women entrepreneurs, whether they're urban or rural based. We know that the applications what sectors they are coming from, but we do not know the individuals. And that's because we wanted to establish a program that had integrity, that had transparency. In terms of accessing the application form, I would like to talk about TEF Connect in a way, but let me introduce TEF Connect. So the application form is available on www.tefconnect.com. Now you're wondering, what is TEF Connect? As I said, we started with the 7 pillars of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. And in 2018, in October 2018, we launched TEF Connect because we have the world's largest gathering of African entrepreneurs already in our database, 300,000 plus, right? And we have not been able to select all of them. We have not been able to democratize that opportunity. And we have now engaged in the widest and the deepest possible way with the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And I think, you know, the H Hub, the H Web, and the Unlocking African Markets are part of that ecosystem. So the genesis of TEF Connect was, how can we further democratize opportunity and bring a lot of our knowledge, a lot of information, and put it in an open source platform. And that is what we have built. We built TEF Connect also using local, i.e. African web developers, African, in terms of the development of the technology, we did not outsource it to China or to India. We've actually developed our technology platforms using African talent. So Connect is where you can go to, certainly to download your application, but more importantly, register and avail yourself of a lot of free learning tools, mentoring. There's a mentors network, investor network, right? A marketplace where you can upload a profile of your business and begin to sell, begin to do intra-Africa trade in terms of your products and services. Already, we've had over 450,000 entrepreneurs have registered on TEF Connect. And as I said, we launched in October. So TEF Connect is literally building on the platform, which was the program. Now we built a second tier to it, which is the digital platform that connects entrepreneurs to the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So I would like to see the H-Web and the Unlocking African Markets on TEF Connect, so other people can actually be reaching you directly from that. I could talk for hours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Parminder. I think you've actually answered the next question. So before we take some questions, I would just want to clarify what you are trying to say is this. What you said is this: the fact that somebody applied and was not chosen doesn't mean that the person has lost out completely, because what it does, the person, the applicant, automatically goes into your database, and then they are now part of the network. I think that is amazing. And one other thing I want to stress is this. You see, last year, sometime in November, we interacted with the director of Intra-African Trade at the Afrexim Bank. And one of the things that actually, because now what we should be doing now is to connect the dots. Now, Africa is the market. Here at Tony Elumelu Foundation, you guys are producing the entrepreneur. At the Basilia Group Unlocking African Market, we are creating a platform where this is possible and interacting and bringing these parties and all the actors, like a value chain kind of things together. So I think for me, it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs to actually leverage this kind of initiatives and institutions and platform to really see what is possible, such that the entrepreneur in one part of Africa can begin to consider doing business in other part of Africa. And we are fortunate that policies and programs of the African Union now favors that. I think this is an interesting time. Yeah.
So Steve, let me just add to that. So, you know, the entrepreneurs, say from Rwanda, for example, the TEF alumni, as we call them,
yeah,
they organized a delegation at the invitation of the Botswana and TEF entrepreneurs, yeah? And so they traveled from Rwanda to Botswana to begin to, you know, this is intra-Africa trade. This is entrepreneurs taking responsibility for their own growth as well. All we did was to provide them with a platform where they got their training. And that kind of intra-Africa trade between, certainly amongst the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs, is absolutely beginning to happen. What the AU has done, the Africa Union, is to begin to build policies and regulations around facilitating intra-Africa trade. Have you tried getting a visa from one country to the other? Have you tried, you know, getting permits to be able to sell your goods from one country to the other? You know, there's a lot of informal trade, but now with the AU's intervention, it's about formalizing those intra-Africa trade. And what we are doing, I guess, is two things. One is building an investable pipeline so that the likes of Christoph's fund, where he's investing in startups and enterprises, that he's got an investable pipeline. We have 4,470 of them, right? But at the same time, what we're also doing, both online and offline, is connecting Africa at such a 54 African countries, 54 economies, 54 opportunities. We're connecting them through and by and with the entrepreneurs.
Oh, great.
No,
Wow.
that's very important. But I see, Steve, that there are some questions that people are asking. Or,
okay, let's go for those questions, please.
Yeah, so Jean-Claude asked about where to go to. So Jean-Claude, if you haven't seen there in the chat, Alexandria has pasted the link for us, tefconnect.com/application. If you want to stand a chance of being selected as one of the 1,000 entrepreneurs to participate this year. But then there are also some other questions. So I saw there that, who was it that asked, Edmondson said he wanted to ask a question. So Edmondson, I can actually bring you into the, into allow you to talk. So we won't switch on your camera, but you can switch on your microphone. So if you just click there to accept the request to talk, Edmondson.
Yeah.
There's a button there with a microphone icon. If you click on that, it will allow you to talk. Maybe I jumped on you too quickly now and you feel a bit intimidated. But you can also type your question into the oh, there you are, Edmondson.
Yes. Hello. First of all, I want to congratulate the Tony Elumelu Foundation. It's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant project. And I feel like that's what we need, especially in African countries. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business for almost 8 years. I've been in formal business, I can say 6 years. Wow. So I'm from Mozambique. And I feel like, yes, I'm from Mozambique. And I think the Tony Elumelu Foundation is exactly what we need. Because we have seen so many conferences, so many projects like this, but they don't act. I feel like the youth is, I can say, tired of only going to conferences that don't bring impact, physical impact. Because one thing is discussing the problem at all times. And one other thing is discussing the problem, identify the problem, and solve the problem. So I feel like that's what we need. The Unlocking African Markets has a conference in Mozambique this year, July 27. And we will be pleased to have anyone from the Tony Elumelu Foundation just to explain how it works, how they can put out some of our Mozambican entrepreneurs to apply for this finance. And we need action, and that's what we're seeking. It wasn't more like a question. I just wanted to say that we have our Mozambican conference, and we will be pleased to have someone from the Tony Elumelu Foundation just to speak about it, and hopefully we can create the platform to to spread the word of the Tony Elumelu Foundation and how we can apply to get.
So Edmondson, can I
yes, please.
just respond to him? Firstly, we do have entrepreneurs from Mozambique, and they are alumni and they're very, very active. We do get applications. We do select from Mozambique. We have done since 2015, and they become really active in supporting for in terms of the application drive. We can certainly put you in touch with them so that they attend your conference in July. Secondly, I think you should you should register on TEF Connect, and you should publicize your conference because there's 450,000 entrepreneurs on that platform, and I'm sure those who can come would love to come to the conference in July. And we would love the alumni to be also representing the foundations and representing their own business in Mozambique as well. Yeah, and absolutely, we'll see if there's anyone from the foundation who can also attend.
Great. Thank you so much, Parminder. I just wanted to chip in this. Actually, Edmondson is one of our team leaders in Mozambique. What we do at Unlocking African Market is like we're spreading the ideas and the information. And this year, we are actually having our conferences in 4 cities in Africa. We are having a conference in Lagos. We are having it in Maputo, Mozambique. We're going to be having it in Cape Town, South Africa, and we're going to be having it in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. So we would like an opportunity to carry the Tony Elumelu Foundation, along with us, to just spread the information and see. I see an opportunity for synergy in the things that you do and in the kind of ideas and the initiatives that we are promoting. So I think it would be good to reach out to your network when the time comes appropriately, so that we can try to see how we streamline the.
Absolutely, and I think you should start doing it now. When are you doing your conference in Lagos?
In Lagos, it's going to be around October.
Yeah, but all of this, TEF Connect is the platform. That's the whole point, yeah? Because it's literally, as you said, both of us, the three of us agree, the ecosystem, the entrepreneurship ecosystem across the African continent is emerging, yeah? And if we can find your own platform, the more the platforms can connect and cross-promote and leverage from each other's strengths, the faster the entrepreneurs across the continent will grow.
Right.
Yeah. So I see Ziyanda, we're running out of time fast, but Ziyanda, if you want to unmute yourself quickly, you can also speak about your question around the Tony Elumelu Foundation not being known so well in South Africa and ideas that you have around the university. So Ziyanda, do you want to unmute yourself, then you can speak about that question quickly?
Hi everyone, thank you for the opportunity. The foundation is not well known in South Africa, and I'm thinking, what about the foundation partner with universities that are focusing on business so that it can market itself and entrepreneurs can know that there's a platform such as TEF?
Okay, Ziana, very fantastic point, and we are doing, and I'll tell you why. So again, as in Mozambique, we have selected since 2015 large numbers of entrepreneurs from South Africa, and in fact, South Africa, Johannesburg, and Cape Town seems to have become my second home, because over the last 4 years, I've traveled a lot and spoken at many conferences, and I have observations about the South African entrepreneurship ecosystem. In terms of universities, you're spot on, and over the last 4 years again, and this year as well, the alumni team, the entrepreneurship program team, is really working with universities across the continent and in South Africa to hold what we call the application drives, getting our alumni to go and talk to potential applicants and tell them what it is, to share their own experience of having applied, been selected, and then gone through the program. The reality is that it is the alumni, it is the entrepreneurs who become the ambassadors of the Tony Elumelu, because the important thing is that the foundation uses its resources, the capital that it has, to really invest directly in the entrepreneurs. Yeah. I think the other thing that you know, that across the African continent, the entrepreneurs, the enabling environment for entrepreneurs varies to large degrees. South Africa has one of the most developed, as I have seen in my, both as a filmmaker when I made films in South Africa, and now as the CEO of the foundation. But it doesn't, those opportunities are only limited to a very small slice of society. Whereas I would like to say that, yes, we can go to universities, but actually it's in the townships and it's in the rural areas and the small towns across South Africa where the extraordinary opportunities that are already available in South Africa are not even being reached, if you see what I mean, yeah? And I think that's, something that the South African entrepreneurs and the South African entrepreneurship ecosystem needs.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're going to be closing now, but I would just want to ask Parminder, and just to inform you, if it is possible, because the application is closing very soon, we would like to do like a special webinar for maybe for TED again, where we have like 2 of the alumni to come and talk about the application process and their experience, going through the whole process and all that. I think that will be fine. If we have the time and if it is something that your office can accommodate, we can discuss with your team over there. You don't have to be there. Then we can get the alumni there. Okay. And then we can make that for the next webinar.
Absolutely. That's a brilliant idea, and certainly Alex will, and she's really, driving, leveraging the alumni and using the alumni and encouraging the alumni in terms of getting their support on the application drive. Absolutely, we would do that.
So, if we're getting there now, we want to wrap up now. We just want to hear the final word from Parminder. What is going to be your final word for this webinar, and what is going to be your encouragement for African youth who are living in the midst of massive unemployment? What word of encouragement do you have for them?
I think the one is mindset. Change your mindset. The mindset should be one of not a job seeker, but a job creator. If people from outside can come in and see the opportunities, extraordinary opportunities that are there across the African continent, you as someone who lives here, lives on the continent, you should be seizing those opportunities. Yeah. So become a job creator, be an entrepreneur, become a job creator, seize the opportunities. And then, you don't have to apply to programs. You can, even on TEF Connect, you can go through the 12-week Startup Enterprise Toolkit. You can download it. You can basically develop the 10 fundamentals, as I see it, of going from an idea to starting your business. Yeah. And then find amazing mentors, because all of us have got where we've got by having really great mentors. Find a mentor. It could be another entrepreneur. It could be, it could be anybody, but who can really be a guide as you embark on this amazing journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Parminder. Christoph, final word from yourself?
Yeah, Steve, so thank you very much for this initiative. It takes a bit of risk and guts for someone to start to do. I know that. I've done that a few times myself. So I really appreciate, Steve.
I'm an entrepreneur. I take risks.
Exactly. Oh, that's the other one. Take risks. Yes.
Risks, yeah. So well done with the setting things going. I know that you've had your conference for unlocking African markets previous years, and that you're iterating that into the continent. So best of luck with that. Feel very honored to have spent the hour with you, Parminder. From the HWeb side, I think working with other institutions like yourselves, both of these parties, is very important. We're not sitting on islands, each doing our own thing. We're working in the same space. And I'm very excited about the fast expansion of support networks reaching out to entrepreneurs in the continent. at the HWeb Fund, we see applications coming in for fundable businesses with great ideas that are not only relevant to solving problems in Africa, but are solving problems that you can take into the world, and that's really exciting. So I'm very positive about what we can achieve cooperating together. And thank you very much for your participation here today. I enjoyed it. I hope we can grow the audience a bit, you know, sort of. So maybe the slight disappointment, we have had over 70 people registering for the webinar. We're about 15 people on the webinar itself. You know, the hour that we spend could have more impact if we get more people in the room. So maybe there's a bit of homework for us to do so that we can improve the reach that we have, because internet is there for everyone to link into something like this. But
can you share the 1 hour, a link to the webinar so people can watch it if they want to in their own time?
Yeah, sure.
You've got plans to use the recording to actually promote the recording too, so more people can watch it. Yes, we will do.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. Thank you so much, everyone. Christoph, I must appreciate HWeb for the support for unlocking the market and for actually, you know, being the techie guy behind this. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And to Parminder and the team over there, I know that the team is there behind Parminder. And we've spoken to a few of them. I think I need to mention especially Alex.
Alex, yeah.
I think she did amazingly well. We really thank Alex also. Thank you so much. So we are going to be in touch with the team to see whether we can have a part 2 of this webinar, especially for TEF, where we talk to alumni and then they also advise on the application process and how to get into the program.
Well done, Steve.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Parminder. Okay, guys.
See you
Have a good day.
very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.